pieces, my body, head, and soul. Many miles away, I could start a perfect story. Find myself and find out glory. This deceptive world, giving me the sign, giving me the sign. Giving me the sign, giving me the sign.
Welcome, and good evening. We are here, the Sci-Fi Queens. How are you guys doing? This is our show where we explore all the female characters in science fiction, whether that's TV, movies, books, art. If it's out there, we will explore it. And if you're new to our channel, welcome. And we ask that you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you always know when we're on, which is every other Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And tonight we have Navia, and Annie is on her way in a little bit. So definitely,
Are
she
you
is
surprised I'm
coming.
here, Anita?
No, I'm excited that you're here. You are.
I decided to grace all of you with my presence. You should be honored.
Oh, thank you. My queen of chaos.
That's right.
Absolutely. Yes, tonight we're going to do something a little bit different.
Mhm.
Tonight we have the Ask the Queens. Is the show where you get to ask us the questions you have for us, whether it's about our segments, like Navia's segment, which is the female scientist segment, or when Annie comes on, you can ask her about her Annie's book recommendation segment.
Mm-hmm.
And let's, get to know each other. You can ask me about my tiaras, about my cosplays. You can ask us the curious questions you have. Okay. So Navia, let's start. Tell me how you feeling about this Ask the Queens night.
I'm so excited, but I feel a little vulnerable. I don't know what kind of questions you're gonna ask me. To be fair, Anita did send me the list beforehand, and I was like, no. I am gonna just go out there, and it's gonna be a surprise to me. Do I regret it? I don't know. We'll find out.
Well, those are the questions I thought that we might be asked. But remember,
True.
the questions are coming from those watching.
Oh, that's true.
So we don't really know what's going to be asked of us.
Yeah.
We do have tonight our good friend, Sarah. How are you,
Yay.
Sarah? How are you doing tonight? Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, we were not on last in our like 2 weeks ago. We did a reposting of an old the show because we kind of had to revamp our episodes that we had already set up and created with the team, so that it could be strike friendly, as we do support. The Sci-Fi Queens does support all unions and their rights. So we just kind of needed that time to revamp those shows,
So Nita and I haven't talked in like a month.
That is so
we only talk on podcasts.
Yes, I only talk to her on podcasts because
she's crazy.
We have our good friend Joe to be seen.
Hey Joe.
How are you? So yeah, Annie is on her way. As you guys know, she is saving lives quite literally in the emergency room. So she will hop on as soon as she gets home. Sometimes when Annie doesn't hop on, it's because her job has taken her a lot of her time, and she's not able to, not because she does not want to be here. She definitely loves sharing books with you guys and sharing all of the new content that she reads. She reads a lot. I thought I was a reader. Oh no, this girl is the reader of readers. Okay. So definitely. So Sarah has our first question.
That's an easy one, Sarah.
Sarah, that's like mind-boggling. I don't know if I can answer that.
How are
I
you, Nita?
don't know. I'm excited. I'm
Uh-huh.
excited. I'm very excited. Today was the last day of my training at my new job.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was like a month
Oh,
of
God.
training, and it's
Oh,
because they have
dang.
so many systems that you really have to have all that time to learn them.
Mhm.
So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be back on the podcast and
Yeah.
talking to people about science fiction. How about you, Navia? How are you?
I'm so excited. It feels weird not to have done the show 2 weeks ago. So I'm just like, oh, this is like, okay, we're back. We're back. And it's so exciting. And I'm just super ready. I've been
Yes.
all day.
Yeah. I think that Sarah's next question is deep. And
Okay.
you going first, girl.
Am I going first? What is
It
my.
says, "What's your first intro to sci-fi?" Oh,
Okay.
talk to me.
Mine's a Star Wars. So I went over to a family friend's house. It's funny, like my parents were the first kids among their friends group, or the first people among their friends group to have kids. And so my brother and I were like spoiled. And so like all these adults just wanted to introduce us to stuff that they really, really enjoyed. And Star Wars was introduced to us. And I don't know if I got it at first. Like I didn't know what was going on. I don't remember which episode it was. I just remember, oh wow, this is so cool. Like people are fighting. There's like laser light sword things, like a weird robot. So yeah,
Everyone loves a robot.
everyone loves the robot, especially at kids. I really like. I think it was R2D2. I was just like, yes, that's my friend. That's me. So Star Wars was my first introduction to sci-fi.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
I actually am surprised. I did not know you were going to say Star Wars.
yeah. It was before the new three. So like the original three, four, five, six. One of those was the first introduction to Star Wars for me.
Wow. For
Yeah.
me, it was Star Trek.
Okay.
Um, yeah, for me it was Star Trek. And I don't know how much time between the first time I saw Star Trek and the first time I saw Star Wars
Uh
was. But I did fall in love with Chewbacca. I am a proud.
huh.
I will proudly say I love Chewbacca. Okay. Yeah.
You're
He
among
was.
nerds. That's
I
fine. That's such a fine thing to
I
say.
thought he was so awesome. Like nobody understood him. Nobody
Uh
knew what he was saying. You
huh.
know, and years later I found out I was reading something about Star Wars, and it said how the noise that he makes
Uh huh.
was put in later. They will
Okay.
record
Yeah.
him, they will record the actor saying the actual lines in order to
Oh.
give the actor that they were playing against
Mm.
kind of something to feed on. So if he was grunting, oh, look, they're coming, he was actually saying that, and then the grunting was, he would do
Ah.
the grunting later and it was put in over that.
That's why Han understand him. Here we thought Han actually understood Chewbacca. No, Chewbacca was just speaking English the whole time.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Yep. Sarah said it. She goes. I saw the video of that with Peter saying his
Oh.
actual lines. I thought it was so strange,
Oh, I
but
bet.
yeah, but I'm kind of glad that when I did see Star Wars for the first
Mhm.
time, that was not information that was public, because I think it would have
Oh yeah.
taken away from the mystery of science fiction. And I think
Right.
that that's something that we have um, gotten away from, because there's so
Mhm.
much information that's accessible, which is great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it kind of takes away from that magic
It
of,
does.
having um the fantasy of how do they do this.
Yeah.
Like the first time I saw Star Trek the motion picture, I said, wow, that was like, look at the space shuttle,
Yeah.
when they're in
Yeah.
the little space shuttle and they're
Yeah.
going to the Enterprise. And I thought that was the biggest thing since, white bread. So I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And you don't really know the details.
No.
And I love that movie magic.
Yeah.
I love the surprise of that. Oh, Sarah's intro to science fiction,
Ooh.
the original Terminator. Now that's different.
Yeah.
I love the Terminator
Uh huh.
series, but that's definitely different. you know.
I don't.
Um,
I think I've seen Terminator. I don't think like I've ever sat down and watched it fully, but I've seen like parts of it.
Yeah. Well, we have a question here. I guess someone joining us on Facebook, it doesn't have your name, it just says Facebook user. And you go, ask them what?
Ask them what about what? I'm confused.
Yeah. Okay. So tonight's show is Ask the Queens. And
Hmm.
you get to ask us the questions you're curious about us, about our show, about our segment. Like Sarah started with asking us about our introduction to science fiction, things like that. Unfortunately, I don't know who Facebook user is because Facebook doesn't let them show the name.
Oh, boo.
So, oh, boo,
Neither.
Facebook.
Ask us some other questions from your list, your magical list. Let's go to your
My-
list.
no, no, those are the questions that. Oh, Jack, how are you? Welcome to
Jack?
our show. That is Facebook user.
Okay, hi, Jack.
um so yeah so yeah, I love the Terminator movies. Like I was saying, have you seen all the Terminator movies, Navia?
I'm not even sure. Like I've seen bits and pieces. I used to catch a lot of movies. So I grew up watching a lot of movies on like TNT and like scrolling through the channel. So whatever came up, I would watch. And we didn't have a TiVo or like any recording device for a very long time. So whenever you started watching is how you watch the movies. And that's how I watched a lot of movies. That's how I actually started watching Star Trek and everything. So I've seen bits and pieces of a lot of movies. I haven't seen a lot of whole movies.
Yes, because if you didn't have a
Yeah.
DVR or VCR,
Yeah.
you couldn't go back to see it in the beginning.
No.
Once it started,
Mm-mm.
it started, and it
Yeah.
wasn't like we had smart TVs. It
Yeah.
definitely did not restart a show for
Mm-mm.
you. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely. So Navia, talk to me about your segment. Let's start giving people a little bit of
Yeah.
a little juice, a little bit of something to chew on. Talk to me about your segment. What encouraged you to start? Navia has a segment, and it's called A Real Female Scientist, and the influence that they have in our world today, because we do speak of female sci-fi, but these are real scientists.
Yeah.
So talk to me about your segment.
So I've always wanted to be in the sciences, but I just like it just for whatever reason, that's not where my life path led me. And so I thought, how can I help the science community in a different way? That's something I've always wanted to do. And when Nita brought the show over to me, I was like, I got it. I know exactly what we can do, and I know how we can contribute to science as well, because I think all of us want to contribute some way to the betterment of society. Um, and so I told her about this segment. She absolutely loved it. And it's been really fun because originally when I thought about it, I don't know what concept, I didn't have the concept that it is now. I just thought, oh, I'll just tell them, oh, hey, this is a woman scientist and be done with it. But now through research and everything, I'm learning so much. And I think the segment has grown. And I'm like, now I'm figuring out exactly what I want to present and how to present it. And what kind of women scientists there are out in the world. I think that's a really fun thing about this segment. I'm getting to learn about different women and all the contribution. And also, it's really funny learning about these women, how many names we don't know. We just don't know. Like all of the women that we've covered so far, I think we've had 6. I've known 2, but that's because they were very, very famous. The rest of them, I had no idea.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I think that definitely Mae Jameson was someone that
Yeah.
we all kind of knew, um, and and names like that we kind of know, and we're like, yeah, okay, awesome. But it's it's when you start to really learn about their lives that it's really gives
Yeah.
you that wow factor and how much influence we have.
Yeah.
Sarah has a question for you. Says, Navia, have you met in person any women of science?
I mean, I think like no one famous, but we've all always had science teachers or professors who were scientists. I think we've all met them, but no one famous in person. I don't think I've met. It'd be very cool. I don't know who I'd want to meet. Now that I think
Who,
about it, like
who
who would
would
I
you?
want to
My
meet?
question is, who would you want to meet?
I think remember the the lady that we covered, I think the 2 episodes ago, she was the one that was the artist, and she had that like beautiful
Yes.
Instagram page, and she was a neuroscientist. I'm forgetting her name.
Hmm.
I'm terrible with names.
She's the one with the she's the one with the extremely
yes,
long
yes.
name, and she has the
Instagram handle,
the
a long
yeah,
last name. Yes.
a long last name.
Yes. Yeah, her. I think she'd be very cool. She's a neuroscientist. She's so young too. So and then like she's doing all these interesting art pieces, as well as educating people about science. I'd love to meet her.
Oh
Amanda
yes.
Buddha something, I think.
Yes,
I
her
think it's
first name
Amanda.
is Amanda.
Yeah.
Yes, you're
Yes.
right. Absolutely. She's amazing. I mean, and that's what I love about the segment, that it really highlights these young women contributing
Yeah.
to real science that
Yeah.
actually affect our lives.
Mhm.
You know,
And
yeah.
it's so cool to learn about how many different sciences there are. I mean, like you like I think you kind of understand that there's a lot of sciences, but you don't know exactly how much there are until you start researching. You're like, oh, this is a science. Oh, that's a science. Oh, that's a science.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There are so many areas in science and so many areas that we are contributing, you know.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and, you know, and it's true what you say. We all have met scientists because
Yeah.
we've all have had science teachers, right?
Yeah.
And and there are that's a type of scientist,
Yes,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, one science teacher became an astronaut.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And you know, was a very sad thing
Yeah.
that happened to the rocket, but still, she was just a teacher. You
Mhm.
know, she was just your average everyday teacher
Yeah.
who, you know, was a science teacher. And that was, to me, an amazing thing that,
Mhm.
you know, she was able to accomplish that, you know.
Yeah.
And it would have
Yeah.
been great had it been a successful flight, but these are the risks that they take when they get in those things.
Mhm.
I mean,
Exactly.
they are sitting on some serious
Yeah.
explosive devices when they go out
Yes.
into space.
Yeah.
That's why we don't really understand, because it's not something that's a part of our lives.
Yeah.
You know. Now, who has been your favorite scientist to have learned about during this segment of yours?
I think today's, and you'll find out why. She's very cool. But today, so
Really?
that's yeah, she's very cool. She's born in 1992, and she's just doing amazing things. She's so young. I'm just like, earlier this week, remember how Jason and I were like talking about how these women
Yes.
are so young and we're so jealous.
That is
Yeah,
she is amazing. When we get to her segment,
yeah,
you guys are going to love this new scientist that she has researched, you know. And again, if you guys have a real female scientist that you want Nadia to look at, just put it in the comments after the show, because if you put it in here now, it
we'll
disappears.
forget.
Once it disappears, that's the thing. If you put it in the comments, we can go back and do that research and add it to the list. And we definitely do, you know. um, we definitely do go back and look up those recommendations that are out there.
Question for you, Nita.
Ah,
What kind of impact do you hope this show makes on the world? I think we have the ability to change the world.
oh yes, or at least change minds.
Yes, yes.
You know, I don't know if the world, but I'm
The
okay if we
universe
can
ain't
change.
big.
I hope that people become more aware of the influence that women have had in science fiction, whether that is through art or through comic book
Hmm.
or books or movies, TV, any of these areas. It is important for us as women to support other women, and to really just bring to light the good things that women are doing. And this is a fandom that is very, very close to me, near and dear to my heart. I love science fiction. always have.
Mhm.
And I really would like to see, like to let people know about these strong women that have influenced science fiction,
Mhm.
and maybe influence the writing, the caliber of writing in female scientists, because I think that that's really important, that
Mhm.
we really improve on the caliber of writing female characters in science fiction, because I think for a long time science fiction was viewed as a boys thing, you
Yeah.
know and even though females characters have always existed in science fiction,
Mhm.
they haven't really been given, I think, the credit that they have. In
Yeah.
science fiction in general hasn't had the credit that it really deserves.
Mhm.
Science fiction has influenced real science
Yeah.
in this world. How many NASA scientists did say that their influence came from
Yeah.
science fiction?
Uhura specifically, like
Ex-
so many.
yes. Uhura has an actual
Yeah.
foundation that opened
Yeah.
doors for men and women,
Yeah.
um, uh, to get into NASA.
Yeah.
That is a woman who's an actress. She was an actress in a
Mhm.
sci-fi show,
Yeah.
a show she actually almost quit. And
Yes.
yeah, she almost quit, and Martin Luther King encouraged her
Yeah.
to stay on.
Mhm.
And he was a Trekkie. He
Yeah.
likes Star Trek because of her. And
Yeah.
she stayed on because of his advice, and she was able to do this now for others, and her legacy continues, although she has passed, which is beautiful.
Right.
And I saw some pictures online that of Star Trek Las Vegas, where they
Mhm.
did an entire wall honoring her.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, an entire wall, like just of her pictures and her influence in NASA and her foundation,
Mhm.
and that's really beautiful.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, definitely. You know. And what do you hope to achieve with your segment?
I just want to educate people about the women scientists out there because I think we know the names of so many men scientists. Like you could probably name like 10 right now, you know? But
Einstein,
yeah, Newton, like
Oppenheimer.
yeah, Oppenheimer, that's a popular one right now. But how many women scientists can you name? I sadly had one, Marie Curie, and I was like, that's it, that's my woman of science. Like
Yes.
I hope like we learn about more women science, and also I hope you guys will go out and support some of these women that you learn about, or their charities, or their foundations, or or their message. Spread the message that they're trying to spread around the world. So, bring awareness to their cause. Any of that would be great.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. It is so important for us to support these women in science, and in science fiction,
yeah,
because
and
I think that it really does make a difference.
yeah. I think support any science initiative, period. Because right now we need it. Like, the more of us that can get behind science, the better.
Oh, absolutely. I
Yeah,
think that that is 100% accurate. 100% accurate, and I think that it's so important for us to um care about science. Science is all
yeah,
around us, whether we
yes,
understand it or not, right?
yeah, yeah,
Whether we see it or not.
yes,
It's all around us, um from the very beginning of time,
yeah,
so I think it's important that um we just kind of give back and bring awareness,
hmm
Sarah says, I just learned about Hedy Lamar this week.
Oh, I think she was the one. Was she the one where they took her DNA and then they used that for
I
uh
think that's the one.
medicine or
Yeah.
something? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We
It's
will do her. She's very amazing.
Oh, absolutely. I
Yeah,
think that, that's another thing. It's not just the women doing the science, but also the women that have contributed in science in
yeah,
other ways.
Yeah, sacrifice them for science. Like
Yeah.
apparently a lot of oh no, that's not her. Okay.
Okay, so
Uh
she's an actress and an inventor. Okay,
okay.
excellent. Ah, look who's here.
United is here.
Yes, hello, United. OMG, how did I miss it? Oh, I
You didn't
know,
set an
you
alarm?
almost did. You have to have a
I
personal
know.
alarm called Sci-Fi Queens.
Well, we're disappointed in you, but you can make it up to us next week or the week
That's
after.
right. That's right. You can make it up by asking
Yeah.
your question to us. What do you want to know? United Federation of Planners, or as we um, endearly call you, UFP. Uh, what do you want to know for us? What is your question? You can make it up by asking your question to us.
I think now they're nervous.
Yeah, now I put them on the spot.
Yes.
I put them on the spot.
Yeah.
You know. Um, but
Okay,
yeah,
so
okay. So
Hedy Lamarr was the actress and a physicist. Okay, I think the person we're thinking about is Henrietta Locke or something,
yes,
something like
yes,
that.
yes, yeah. Henrietta,
Yes, and
Henrietta.
I'm forgetting her
Mm-hmm.
last name, but we'll do both. Both women
Yes,
are amazing.
yes. Yeah, especially since the one that we're trying to figure out her last name.
Yeah,
Uh, her contribution, her unknowing contribution to science, has come up with developments for cancer research, medications, treatments, like
yeah.
so many different things. There are probably things that we do in our lives, medically speaking, that have come from her research, from the
Hmm.
research they did on her.
Yeah.
Sarah has an excellent question. Who do you want to meet? Actress, woman of science, author. Ooh, you go first. Go
Okay, so
first, Davia.
there's this author named Tamara Pierce. She wrote a whole bunch. She's such a prolific author because she wrote a whole bunch of teen fantasy books, and I love fantasy. I cannot tell you. You give me a good fantasy book, I'm here for it. And she had like 7 or 8 different series for teen girls, and I think from like middle school, I mean all the way through college, I still read like her latest ones, even though they're for teens because they're absolutely amazing. Her name is Tamara Pierce. If you love fantasy, please check her out. She's a wonderful author, and I really, really want to meet her.
And a woman of science,
A woman of
or
science.
or an actress.
Ooh, let's do. Ooh, good questions. Actress. Who would I want to meet? I don't know. There's so many actresses I would want to meet.
I definitely would love. Okay, I would love to go back in time and be able to meet Uhura,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know that I have the ability to travel through time.
Not yet. Be positive.
Maybe. Um, but I would actually love to meet um the actress who plays Olivia Dunham.
Oh yeah,
Yes, and she is one of my favorite sci-fi characters. She is so strong and powerful, and she's just so well balanced,
yeah.
not afraid of her feelings and emotions, but
No.
not afraid to kick your butt if she has to, and not afraid of science, totally
Yeah,
unafraid of science. I love her as an actress. I've seen her in
yeah.
quite a few things. um, Anna Torv is her name,
Okay.
and I've seen her in quite a few things. Mindhunter, and
Hmm.
another Australian. Sorry, I can't think of the name. A few things. She's really
Okay.
excellent. She actually was also on The Last of Us for a couple of episodes. So
Okay.
amazing. Yeah, so amazing. As far as a woman of science, you know, I'm gonna keep it real simple. There is someone, an actual female scientist on TikTok. Her name is Alex, and I would love to one day meet her. She's actually getting her PhD in the UK,
Oh
and she
wow.
talks about science fiction and real science, and she tells you what's real science in, let's say, Star Trek or Star Wars, or in different
Oh
fandoms,
wow.
and what is actually achievable and what's not. And she explains why. And she really is so smart, but she does not make you feel like she's talking down
Mhm.
to you. And there are not many people in the world who I think I would allow to talk down to me. But that woman is so smart that she probably could, and I'd
Yeah.
probably be okay with it. She is so smart. I would love to meet her in person. Um, he's super, super busy. I'm trying to get her actually on our show. And so hopefully, keep your fingers crossed. As far as an author, well, we're going to meet an author next in
Oh
2 weeks.
yeah.
Karen Nordine will be on our show. So we'll
Mhm.
have the privilege to talk about her and writing female characters and science fiction and all her cosplays. And she's just this amazing, down to earth. Uh, I believe she's got 3 novels. One of them is gonna come out in September. There, it's up for pre-order. So check it out. And I'm actually got the audiobooks of 2 of them,
Oh wow.
and they're really good.
Okay.
Um, I like them. I like them, and I'm not really big on audiobooks, but I really am enjoying the person reading her book. It's
Mhm.
really good. So that is someone that I would love to meet, not
Yeah.
just here in a podcast, but in person. We had another question here.
Right.
From our buddy. Okay, the pressure's on. How does it feel being on a podcast? Is it scary? Because you are naturals.
Oh, flattery will get you
Ah.
nowhere, my friend.
Uh, she speaks for herself. Flattery gets you everywhere with me, baby. So you go first now.
Um, I think I was nervous at the very beginning, but Nita does a very good job of making people feel comfortable. And I think we have such a good back and forth where it doesn't feel like I'm talking to people on the internet. Like, hopefully one day what I say does not come back to haunt me. But I think thanks to Nita, I feel very comfortable and I don't feel nervous at
Oh,
all.
oh well, thank you. For me, yeah, I was nervous. Uh, I mean, I have been on Captain Squadron for a
Hmm.
few times, so I wasn't nervous in the sense of I don't know what to expect. But when you're doing a new show and you're doing the showrunner and you're learning about podcasting, because I kind of had to learn as I went,
Yeah.
and great tutelage with Jace and Joe.
Hmm.
They were, amazing, and Jace is extremely patient. Um, and he's been wonderful,
Hmm.
in making me feel like I got this,
Right.
um but yeah, I think that when you have a good partnership with the people that you're doing your podcast with, it should feel like you're talking,
Yeah,
having just kind of like a conversation at home, as opposed to
exactly.
having a conversation with lots of people you don't know, which is technically what a podcast is, right?
Yeah. And just like anything else, it takes practice. Like you're not going to be good on day one,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
on day 100, you'll definitely see an improvement. You might
Oh
not be
yeah.
like a top podcaster, but you'll definitely be improvements from day one. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And do you feel, Navia, that your expectation in podcasting has been realized, or are you feeling like not quite where I want to be as a podcaster? Like,
I mean, like I'm gonna like a little. It's been a dream of mine to be on a podcast since I was a little girl. I grew up watching radio or listening to radio shows, and so I was just like, and when Nita invited me to be on this podcast, I was like, oh my god, like so just to be on the podcast. This gets so corny. It's such an honor. Like, so I've like reached my dream. I'm good.
can I just tell the story? When I called her, I said, "Oh yeah," I sent her a text. I said, "Give me a call. I wanted to
Yeah,
talk to you. I have a question for you."
thought someone
And
was
where can I
dying.
call you? So I called and I said, "Listen, I'm we're starting a new podcast, and I was wondering." Yes, that was Nadia. She didn't even let me finish, and I'm like, "Don't you want to know?" No,
No,
yes,
I
I'm in.
don't care.
I'm like, okay, but I had a spiel prepared.
Like once you trust people, it's easy to just sign up for stuff, right? Like that's the thing. Like I know Nina's never gonna ask me to like jump off a bridge with her. So I feel like her request would probably have been like very reasonable. So I was like, yes, let's do it. Whatever you want.
And what better thing to do than to talk about something that you're passionate about?
Yeah.
Because you see, that's the thing about those of us who are sci-fi fanatics or fans. We don't do things halfway. We're all in or we're not. 100%. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's like when I started doing cosplays, I started with being so afraid to even purchase one uniform because oh, what if it doesn't fit? Oh, what if and then I said to myself, does it really matter?
Yeah.
Does any of the questions and fears that I have really matter? Just get it, try it on, and just kind of go with it, right?
Yeah.
And 20 uniforms later, right?
Yeah.
And 40 hours later.
Nina's been wanting to bring up her tiaras. Nina,
I love my tiaras. This is my BFF. I know this woman for 30 plus years.
Wow.
She is not allowed to give secrets. Welcome, Ida, and she has a question for us. How did you decide what to talk about and what's more important? When Jace came to me, our producer Jace came to me with the idea of a all-female podcast, and my brain automatically goes Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, but Jace, you got a Captain Squadron, we can't do a Star Trek show about, he goes, no, but what about science fiction? About female characters, science fiction. It was actually Jace's idea. He brought that up to me, and I said, that would be amazing. Yes, that is like absolutely. You get a bunch of sci-fi nerds in a room, you are coming up with some ideas.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And we had to kind of break it down. Okay. Well, do we want to just do one type of science fiction genre, or do we want to open ourselves up and be open to science fiction in all genres? Because we've got science fiction in comic books, which that show is coming up in a couple of weeks. We've got science fiction in movies, in TV, in books, in art. Okay. Science fiction is literally in every area that you can think of.
Yeah.
Even I think music.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That'd be an interesting show idea. I didn't even think about that. Nita, I'm writing that down.
Out there that are kind of science fiction-y, right?
Yeah.
And
I love this idea.
And I think that's and when I spoke to Navi about it, and we really got into a real serious conversation after the whole high-pitched screaming of she immediately jumped in and said, how about a segment about this? We could put this in our show, right? We didn't know the word segment then. We were still learning the language. But she was like, what if we did this? We introduced a real female scientist every week and honored her. And I'm like, that works for me. You're doing it, right? And then she laughed, that evil laugh that says,
I guess so.
Really? I guess I'm doing it. But yeah, that's, and we knew Annie was a big reader. And I was trying to think of something to include Annie on that didn't take too much of her time because, Annie literally is an ER nurse, and she makes a lot of sacrifices to be on our show, so we do appreciate her. But there are times when, and the ER is what it is, right? If anybody's ever been to an ER, it can be very chaotic, and you just don't know. You can't always clock out at 5 o'clock,
Yeah.
And uh, Jace actually came and he goes, "What about?" Because I was talking to Jace about it. I said, "I don't know. I want her to have a segment of her own. What do
Mhm.
I couldn't think of anything." He says, "What about books? She's a
Yeah.
big reader." Jace is the brains
Ah,
behind Spectrum Santorum. Okay,
yeah.
um, and the thing with Jace is he always lets us kind of, you know, grow and let us do our thing. You know, he'll always give us feedback and constructive criticism and help us to mold our show into a good quality. But we have an amazing support system. You
Yeah.
know, not just in Jace, but on all the other showrunners as well. You know, I've personally learned from them. And one of the best, if you guys haven't seen Off the Shelf, is one of our podcasts on Spectrum. it, Rick does the best intros. Okay, when he is starting the show, I literally stole his. I literally sat here, watched his, and wrote word for word what he said,
Right.
and then recreated it to fit our show because
Yeah.
he was the model of that. And I feel like, we can learn from each other and grow with each other. And because our shows are so different, there's not that competitiveness.
But Nita, how
Um,
do we decide which topics to talk about?
it's called a meeting.
It's
I do. I have. We have a meeting every few months,
yes.
and we actually have uh, what is it called? The note on our
Like the notes app on iPhone. We have the Android
yeah,
version.
yeah, we have the note app, and all three of us have access, and we all kind of put ideas in there. So when our meeting comes, we go back to that and we go, okay, which ideas can we actually do? Because sometimes we have ideas
Yeah.
that don't really work out. Because after
No.
we talk about them, we're like, oh yeah, but this is not gonna work.
Yeah. Sarah's laughing at us because we said the
Yeah.
word meetings. Yeah, Sarah, I know it looks like we just come on here and goof around, but there's actual structure to this show.
There's actually, listen, I take
So much
minutes.
work. Yeah.
I take
Yeah.
minutes to my own meeting.
Yes.
Okay, and then I send them out to them. Okay, and with the dates, this date we're
Yeah.
doing this show, and we're having this guest, or we're gonna invite this guest, and da da da. And
Yeah.
we break it down, and we send it to Jace, and he creates all of these wonderful, thumbnails that you see.
Yeah.
Let me show you this week's.
There's
That
so many
beautiful
logistics.
thumbnail,
Yeah.
that's all Jace's creation
Yeah.
right there. But we're going to take a little bit of a break, go into a commercial, and then we're going to come back with Navia's segment. But guys keep coming with your questions. Absolutely. Um, Definitely come back with your questions.
I feel like I'm in the.
I did that on purpose.
Is this revenge for that episode where I kept having a not Andy sign?
Yes.
Oh boy.
But this is your segment, girl. Tell us.
All right, everyone. So today we're going to be talking about Dominique Goncalves. She's an ecologist from Mozambique. She grew up in the city of Beira. She has a MSc in conservation biology from the Durrell Institute of Conservation and Ecology from the University of Kent. She now works for the Gorongos National Park in Mozambique. And a few facts about this national park: it's actually 4,000 square kilometers, or 1,544 square miles. It's in Mozambique, and it's perhaps the greatest wildlife restoration story. In 2008, the government of Mozambique and the Carr Foundation formed the Gorongos Project, excuse me, a 20-year public-private partnership for joint management of the park and for human development communities around the park. So what happens is this national park actually sits in the middle of the country, and so there's human encampments or like villages all around. Um, and on the in June of 2018, the government of Mozambique actually signed an extension um, management agreement with Gorongos National Park for another 25 years. So, a little backstory about why this park was actually created. Mozambique actually went through a 15-year civil war, which decimated both human and animal life. Over 1 million people died, and the Gorongos elephant population was slaughtered for food or ivy to support the war, or ivory, sorry, to support the war. The number of elephants in 1972 were 2,500, and a decade later, it was only 300. So that's why they decided we got to start a national park. Dominique joined the Gorongos Elephant Ecology Project as a fellow, and a couple years later, she started managing it because she was absolutely amazing. Or is absolutely amazing. This initiative investigates elephant movement and range expansion in relation to habitat use and human and elephant conflict. Um, Due to the fact that humans live around the park, there's a ton of human and elephant conflict. Um, what happens is sometimes, depending on the time of year, resources will decline, and this will bring elephants and humans into conflict. Hungry elephants will sometimes go into farmlands of humans, and they'll start eating and also probably destroying a lot of the farms along the way when they go try to find food. And obviously the humans get upset because this is their livelihood and this is how they make money, and they pay for important stuff like education and healthcare. So Dominique and her crew kind of study this and try to keep the elephants and humans at peace so no one gets hurt. When asked about her work, she said coexistence takes time. It takes people to understand, and it also takes elephant to understand. I think the biggest thing that connects me with elephants is their empathy and their sense of place and family. It's very strong. They do anything to protect their family, especially the matriarchs and the females. They feel for the ones that are not here anymore, and they're able to forgive and maybe forget. It may take time, but they're able to do that. Even when humans have done so many terrible things to them, they're capable of restarting and reconnecting. And that's the thing that's very special about them. And I absolutely love that quote. Like, you can tell how passionate she is about saving these elephants and her work. On top of all of that, she's an advocate for girls' education. A big problem in Mozambique is early marriages for girls. Families just don't have the resources to take care of their daughters, so they'll just marry them off. Through the Gorongos Parks Girls Club, she's able to provide 50 villages in the area with education for the girls so they can go on to find better opportunities. Because marriage for children is never the answer to anything. In 2008, she became a fellow for National Geographic. And then in 2019, she was featured in the National Geographic Women of Impact. And as if that's not enough, she's currently a PhD candidate in biodiversity management. And she doesn't have any social media, but if you want to support her and her cause, you can always donate to the Gorongos Parks Girls Club.
She is amazing. And you know what? The elephants are amazing.
Yeah.
If an elephant dies, when elephants go traveling and they walk the same walk, they can always have water and know where to eat. So they kind of keep the same path.
Yeah.
Past that path, that area where that elephant that they knew passed, they stop and they all start to kind of do kind of a song, and they kind of move the dirt around and sort of like in a remembrance of that elephant that passed. They're very connected to each other. Absolutely.
They're such amazing animals, and I'm glad people are looking out for them, especially
Yeah.
Dominique.
Yep. Sarah has an interesting question.
Uh
If you could have anyone on your show, living or not, who would it be and why? Nav.
oh. Major Majel Barrett. It's Majel, right? That's how you say
Oh,
her name.
Majel. Yes,
Yeah.
Majel
I
Barrett.
mean, come
Oh.
on. She was in TOS, Star Trek movies, and Next Gen. And her voice is the computer for all the, I think the original Star Trek series, the five. I don't know if she's still the voice. Is she still the voice for Discovery, Strange New
I don't know
World?
if she's the voice for Discovery, but she was not the voice, I think, in the original series, just in
Or sorry,
TNG.
yeah. Wasn't
And
she also the voice in like Voyager
yeah,
Enterprise also?
in Voyager.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd be very cool if maybe we can like meet her in the heavens and be like, what do you think? What do you think about your impact of Star Trek? What do you like? How does it feel to be the computer, or like the voice of the computer? Like her legacy
Yes.
carries on. Oh, she was also in DS9. Forgot that too.
I think
Somehow.
for me, as much as I would love to have that conversation with her,
Yeah.
um, if I had to choose someone who's passed away, it would be Uhura.
Hmm.
Um, and someone living, you know, it's got to be Anna Torv.
Yes.
Hello,
Yeah.
Anna Torv from Fringe. That's my girl.
I'm trying to think who I would want that's living. Like Donna from Doctor Who, Catherine Tate.
Oh my
Oh my
goodness,
God, I feel
yes.
like we would laugh for hours.
Yes, yes. Now, Irina has an interesting question. I would love
Okay.
us to explore. It says, have you thought about doing a field trip to see how these movies and shows are made? It's so interesting that you asked that question because the three of us have talked about, because we've never physically met. Okay, we are
No.
in three different states,
Yeah.
three different time zones. Okay, um but we have talked about a meetup, right? And that will be an interesting thing to consider as to what to do in that meetup. Is maybe go to a studio and get like a tour, right,
Yeah.
and see how these things are made.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Or like go to the Natural History Museum in New York, or like there's a science museum too, isn't there? I'm sure we could hit that up. Like,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
several. Absolutely.
Or Star
Absolutely.
Trek like filming locations would be so much fun. I guess it
Yes.
happens in LA though. I think most of them are in LA, right? I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think so. I think
Yeah.
so. Now, our UFP buddy has a great question. Who is your favorite character of all time in track?
I feel
Ooh.
like throughout my life I've said different things, and it's just one thing that stresses me out about doing content online, because in like 10 years people are gonna be like, "Well, Navia's a hypocrite. First she said this, and now she said that, and then she said this." So like my mind is always changing. So be prepared. My favorite always changes. But currently, I think my favorite character, I think it's Beverly Crusher because of Picard. I mean, she was such a badass this season. That's the Bev we deserved, and we got it.
Yes. Okay. You know what? I know I've said Uhura 1,000 times, and she will always be in my heart forever, right? Um, but if I had to pick a current favorite character in Trek, this is gonna blow your minds. Lieutenant Ortega,
Oh,
Melissa Navia.
oh yes,
This girl is the deal. Like, she
yes,
is just an incredible character, just an incredible actress.
yeah.
I absolutely love her. I absolutely love um, uh, Lieutenant Sunia Noon.
Oh yeah,
She is multi talented. Okay,
hmm,
she's got an album out. She sings beautifully. She's just a terrific actress. She's just a dancer. She is the triple threat, right?
yeah.
Yeah, those are like amazing women that if we had the privilege to interview, yeah,
Oh my gosh.
we would definitely have them here.
Uh,
Uh,
Mariner, Tandy Newsom, is that Tandy Newsom? What's her
Oh
name?
my God, isn't she awesome?
Oh my
Yes.
god. If you guys like don't, you need to watch her interviews. If the actress who plays Mariner is ever doing an interview, you need to watch it because those interviews are so entertaining.
Yes.
She's
She
so
is
funny.
so energetic,
Yeah.
and she brings in such a delight when she interviews.
Oh
You
my
know,
god.
she
Yeah.
kind of takes over. It's like you can
Yeah.
just be sitting back and be like, "Girl, go ahead, do you?"
Yeah.
Like, but in a good way. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
absolutely in a good way, very
Yeah.
positive way. You know, it it definitely is. You know, I would love to meet now. One of the female characters I would love to meet from Deep Space Nine would
Oh.
it's one of my favorite Star Treks is Deep Space Nine. You know, Captain Cisco back here. I would love to meet him, but he's not a girl, and
He's
this
not.
is a girl show, right? So we're gonna keep it girl. You know, um, is I absolutely love the character that oh, her name just slipped my mind. Hey, when that happens.
Kira? Jack?
Kira, yes,
Kira,
Kira.
okay.
She is amazing. You know why? It
Yeah.
was the first time in science fiction. I grew up in a very religious background, so you know, the upbringing
Yeah.
and it's still very much a part of who I am. And it was the first time in Star Trek that you ever saw religion
Yeah.
and space travel together. Like most of the planets that had space travel had
Yeah.
no real concept of religion anymore. But this
Yeah.
is a people who had achieved far greater achievements
Yeah.
than even the Federation had. And yet they managed to keep their faith and they are open about it.
I
And
I
they
I
had no fear about it.
I love how uncomfortable it made Starfleet. That was probably my favorite thing.
Yes.
These Space Knights was like, oh, religion, oh, like the Starfleet admirals was like,
Yes.
religion, oh god, like.
Oh, Iraida, she's killing it. Look at this question. If you were given a chance to
Oh,
appear in a
wow.
sci-fi show or movie, which would it be and who would you play? Girl, I would want to be a Klingon. Come on now. Absolutely. Star Trek, a Klingon.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Any Star Trek.
I think
Even, yeah. What about
yeah,
you? Talk
yeah.
to me.
First of all, you'd be an amazing Klingon. I can totally see that. I feel like you'd just be downing that blood wine and just enjoying Klingon company and just taking people's heads off. You're annoying me, pal.
Yep. Off with your head.
Nina's really a sweet person. She would never.
I just wear the crown.
Yeah, that's right. For me, it is Stargate. Because Stargate takes place in present day, and it's just kind of like a military base, but they get to go like off world to different locations.
Yes, I do like that.
So it's such a cool concept, and to this day, like I wish the Stargate system was real because it's so cool.
I would just too. I would love to visit like different dimensions, different places, and see what's going on.
And you just have to walk through a gate, like.
I love this question.
Uh-oh.
If you had your own ship, what would you name it, and what would it be the registry number? Well, I have my own ship. Because in my mind, I have my own ship. Okay, listen. I am a cosplayer, and I love to create my own cosplays, my own. It's just my own imagination, not just duplicate what I see. I like to be influenced by what I see, right, in science fiction. But I have it. I'm the captain of what? The USS Caliente.
Yeah.
And you know what our mission is? To take party where party hasn't gone to. Who's my first officer? Navia.
Me, that's right.
We party.
Yeah.
That's all we do. We party. We take Bollywood. We take the salsa. We take whatever party. And we just take it to the next planet.
I would be really selfish and just call it USS Navia because I feel like there needs to be a ship named after me. I think I am an amazing person, and one day I will make history in a good way. So I should have a ship named after me. So thank you.
Absolutely, and I will make sure that happens. Ding! You have a ship. The USS Navia.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, I can see it being a science vessel. Of
No,
exploration.
no, we're cooler than that. I want a full-on battleship. I want it to be decked out with everything.
Too funny. Too funny. But definitely. So it's cutting that time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Aw.
our third host was not able to join us, but she will be here on our next show, which is August 25th, which we will be talking about sci-fi in books and
Ooh.
writing female characters. And we will be talking with author and cosplayer Karen Nordine. And if you don't know who that is because the name escapes you, you do know Jazzercise Loki.
Yeah.
That is who she is on her social medias. She's on TikTok, Instagram as Jazzercise Loki. And she has great content and fantastic books. And we're going to talk more about it next on the 25th of August at 8 p.m. But definitely, just wanted to note we have merch.
Ooh, we have merch.
Yes, we got the shirts.
Yes.
We got the cup. We got day bags. We got beach wear. We've got it. Check it out. But we thank you guys for being here with us tonight. And
Yes.
good night.
Good night, everyone.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our new channel so that you can get notified when new videos come up. Thank you for watching our show.